Good morning, everyone. I know we are in between coffee and we wanted to be as precise and brief as possible and bring the key points we wanted to share with you. I think since this is a duologue, Ranjan, let's talk about some of the aspects which we as practitioner face, questions, inhibitions, and how clients look at we as practitioners and what we bring to the table. Do you think AI is the next big thing? I mean, everybody talks.
And video, and text, and code, and a lot of tokens as well for people who are commercializing that. Having said that, I think Abhishek, organizations and the leaders that we're talking to today have really looked at generative AI and all the avatars around that in terms of as a next big thing as such. Right? I mean, some of the survey numbers I think Prateek showed also was that around 80% of the people actually have had some exposure to Gen AI, right? In terms of where we are looking at Gen AI as such, organizations have started looking at it in terms of trying out, experimenting with LLMs, experimenting with some use cases, and there is a lot of things that they are trying to do. I think many of the leaders have looked at it as a unique opportunity for transforming some of the businesses. A little bit of word of caution around that would be that don't look at this as a separate technology which can be replacing some of the processes that you're doing or just looking at automating or augmenting kind of thing. I think the fundamental shift in the way you start thinking about this particular technology is that how do you move from a traditional approach of saying, people used to execute process using some technology, right? Now that has to flip completely to say, okay, technology is going to drive some processes and people are going to manage that for you. And this is where we are seeing some conversations moving as well. And we are talking to some of the leaders. There have been, I think we heard in the earlier panel some examples and use cases, and absolutely this thing. And I'll just play some of the video capsule in terms of, if it's video playing? Yeah. Okay, so just a video in terms of some of the use cases that we've seen, and some of them are actually going into production as well. Across board, you'll see that people are using it from, let's say, product catalog content creation as such, right? I mean, that's one different use case that we're seeing where multimodal models are used from image to text kind of conversion. We're seeing people using it in a very traditional and transactional way for a HR policy navigator. Now, those are some of the use cases. And the other thing we heard earlier as well, I think co-pilots are something which are going to augment the way people are going to leverage AI in your day-to-day use cases. We are seeing a lot of no-touch automation and augmenting using co-pilots, the sales reporting kind of solutions coming in, co-pilots across different kind of things. One example, yesterday I was talking to a client and they were in the pharma industry, and regulatory affairs or regulatory process in pharma is pretty much stringent like the banking industry. The whole submission management on FDA and all the European Union drug administrators is a very cumbersome process where tons of dossiers have to be prepared. And this is where you're seeing a lot of Gen AI going to kind of disrupt the way we are looking at it as well.
Oh, fantastic. I think that great insight and what you're looking at your clients, Ranjan. Thank you for really bringing that up.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we are talking about, and you spoke about it when we were just having a conversation aside as well, about the impact of Gen AI on the roles, and you bought that cartoon as well about the business impact as such, right? I mean, there are a lot of funny cartoons available for you to look at Gen AI because the memes are there everywhere. Where do you see some of these impacting the key roles that we have, the workforce skills that we have for organizations?
A very valid question, Ranjan, and I think all the leaders are trying to find an answer around that, including us, and we are helping, and the best way to do is consult, I think primarily if you see Gen AI coming into picture, we are certainly looking at enterprises thinking very differently, and I think you will have to rethink how you have been, delivering some of the work. Certainly there will be some roles which will be redundant, but there will be many roles which will be created. It is just like, what generative AI has done is, it is, I mean, if I take, an example of how literacy came into humankind, I think it was controlled by the priest and the elitist, early in the centuries, and then certainly when people realized that literacy could really be so powerful, and the pen and pencil came, and exactly the same moment, I think generative AI has given the power of AI to to the people, to the businesses. And I quote Ratna because, she talked about, businesses also doing it. I think that is how it has changed everything. And if I see, the leaders, I think they should be, asking the right questions, and not right questions, but better questions. For example, do you have the right guardrails? Do we have the right talent? Are you going to go with, like Prateek mentioned, an API approach, or a hybrid, or a parameterized approach? So what is the option which works best for the use case, or your current landscape? I think that's where the clients have to really. And a very good example I saw, a couple of days ago was this dark fantasy ad from Shah Rukh Khan. That is the kind of impact it has gone. So I saw, I could probably click a picture and be with Shah Rukh Khan. I think that is the level of hyper personalization scale. I mean, it is in 12 languages, one ad. The impact is, you have hyper personalization at that scale, 12 languages, reaching out to so many people at one time, and pretty much leverage. I mean, I think that is the impact it is gonna bring to the community. I think that's where the clients are moving. I mean, and we as EY are doing a lot of stuff at clients. We've been building platforms. We've been building a lot of enablers, use cases, and some of that you already see. I mean, like summarization, classification, docu intelligence. So how you can go across input, process, decision, output, and look at where can generative AI augment. We are not necessarily looking at generative AI being the silver bullet solving everything, but how you can augment generative AI and bring in more efficiency, reduce costs, better speed to opportunity, etc. I think that's where the whole generative AI aspect is happening. I mean, that is the kind of conversations we are having at our clients.
No, absolutely. I think if you look at it, some of the use cases that we'll just rush through it, considering the time that we have, and we can talk about it while having some tea and coffee as well. But interesting, I mean, you mentioned about how it's going to make some of the roles kind of rethink some of them as well. And we are seeing probably this is also not just the internet movement, it's also a BPR ERP movement for organizations. When ERP came in, I think the whole business process reengineering has to be reinvented as such in the way we actually look at some of these things as well. Having said that, considering that we are standing in between the networking and the tea coffee break, I just want to leave a few thoughts for our audience over here in terms of what are the key things that we should focus on. I know we heard Kunal and everybody, Samir, Prateek, talking about some of those journey considerations as such, but from a practitioner point of view, so having implemented some of these use cases for our customers as such, I think if I have to tell you a few points, and Abhishek and I have to share some of those perspectives, maybe 4 key messages, right? Activate and internalize, I think we heard this about as well, internalize the Gen AI conversation. This is not just a technology conversation. Like in any good old AI solution, I mean, if you heard of the AI solution, it's a 10% algorithms, 20% data and technology, 70% is people and processes. Now, this is what you would actually hear from a lot of organizations, and this is true as well, and start activating and internalizing this thing as well. We heard about this from the earlier speakers as well, about the foundational models. Now, don't start looking at rebuilding or creating your own LLMs. It's going to be among the stars as well, right? Yep. So start looking at, leveraging the basic foundational models, and, look at your proprietary data and start training them, retraining them, reinforcement learning for you to customize for your specific use cases. And I think that's the core.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on a couple of points at the end, I think collaboration is key. I think I heard Jitendra, mentioning the same. Everybody is learning as this is progressing. So it's very important to be consultative, partner with people who can really bring speed to your opportunities. So look for partnership, look for people who can help you with the journey, who may have traveled ahead of you, or who would have made some mistakes and would have learned from those mistakes. So I think partnership is very key in building your strategy, ecosystem, strategy, etc. Around people. Setting up right expectations, I think, like I said, not the silver bullet. So don't try to force fit Gen AI into all use cases. Don't look at it that way, because if you're gonna do that, I think the success and the time you will take to deliver it is going to be huge, and the cost absolutely associated with it. So I think those are the 4 key things which we would like to share with you. I think there are a lot of interesting sessions which are going to happen, which will really dig deep into the topic. I hope you enjoy the sessions and wish you all the best. Right. Thank you.
Thank you all. Enjoy the sessions. Thank you.